We'll get to see Christina and Colleen. Welcome. We'll pin this up here. How do you join the holiday training? Right there, right here, david@dmeltzer.com, or join my text community, 949-298-2905. You got that? All right. Very good. Training is on that. If you missed any of our trainings, they're all featured on Spotify. That's right, featured there. Just go look up the playbook. If you want any of, hi Tina, if you want any of our books, guides, exercises, they're all free, david@dmeltzer.com. If you want a quick Christmas present from me or a holiday gift from me, just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. I will sign a book, send it, and pay for shipping just for you. David, how does your mentorship with you work? Just email me. I have free trainings, I have private groups, and I have one-on-one. That's how it works. It's month to month and guaranteed profitability. Email me if you're interested, david@dmeltzer.com. Let's take a couple questions as we are getting here. Let me see here. Would you be happy to live to over 100? Absolutely. I'm going to live to more than 111. I was born on January 11th. I'm not limiting myself anymore. Absolutely. No reason not to. As long as I'm healthy, happy, appreciative, and gracious, I will live as long as I can. As long as I'm happy, healthy, appreciative, and gracious, I want to live as long as I can in that state. And you should too. Here we go. Do you have any hobbies growing up? Yeah, I started with bottle cap and then went to baseball collection. Don't ask me what a bottle cap collection was, but when you're poor, that's, I guess, what you collect because they were free. So I would get as many different bottle caps as I could. And then baseball cards. Love that. And then, of course, all sports playing I consider to be a hobby. I'm not sure it's a lifestyle. Who's been your biggest influence in 2020 and why? Wow, that's a great question, by the way, Gigi. Thank you. My biggest influence. Probably Napoleon Hill still. Just studying Napoleon Hill, and that it was a great influence on me. Just what I've learned there. There's been so many great influences. Wow. Always, my wife's been a great influence on me as well. Do you have any advice for people with complex PTSD? Meditation and seek professional help. I know meditation, CBD, variety of solutions are out there, but seek professional help. I'm not a professional, but I do think meditation helps being able to find your center. Is money the root of all evil? If you buy the wrong things, it can be. If you buy the right things, it is the biggest asset you can have. Money does not buy happiness or love. Money is not evil. It's what you do with it. It allows you to shop, though. If you shop for the right things, you'll be happy. If you don't, you'll be unhappy there. Look in there. Let me see where I'm at. Okay. Let me see. Get one more question. And thank you for getting these going, everybody. Here we go. What book do you recommend and what are you reading next? Book I recommend, James Clear, Atomic Habits. People like hard. They don't like long. And that's the problem with New Year's Eve. Make every day your New Year's Day. Have a New Year's resolution by taking inventory of your values. The next book I'm going to read, I haven't decided yet. I've been sent so many. So my favorite sport is football, American football. That's my favorite sport to watch and to play, but it's hard to play when you're 52. Let's see here. Jakey Bakey, Atomic Habits by James Clear. You got it. Did I say that? I think so. Text me 949-298-2905 or david@dmeltzer.com. Books, guides, exercises. Catch the replays on Spotify, Entrepreneur, and every platform of the playbook. Give me a like, give me a shout, share it. You'll love it. All my trainings are there. So everything from sales training to pitch training to RIC to holiday training this Friday. It'll all be there for you. Last year's, it's all there. You can check it out and binge watch it if you like. All right. I am looking for Allie. Let's see here. Hopefully I will. It's 8:05. Jakey Bake. Is Allie Burke here? Anyway, I'll take another question while I'm waiting. Have you read Outwitting the Devil? I have not, but that is a great book I've heard. So I'd like to check that out. A little bit of Machiavellian book. Not too bad. If you could give yourself advice at 30 and 40, what would you say to yourself? Same as 20 and 10. be radically humble, ask for help. Be radically humble. Find someone in the situation you want to be in and ask them for directions on how to get there. So, that's the best piece of advice for my 30-year-old self, my 40-year-old self, etc. With Allie, here she is. She
Good.
is.
How about you?
Oh, hello. How are you?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm
I'm
super excited
terrific.
to be
Thanks for
here.
joining me. Well, one of the hottest topics that comes up to me as an executive coach is
That's
about
awesome.
marketing strategies and funnels. And you seem to be quite an expert in that space. And more as the traffic grows, authentic funnels, organic, authentic funnels are going to be a huge part of our lives and how we
Yeah.
handle the traffic that we can generate. What are some of the tips that you have for people at the very beginning who don't really understand what a funnel is used for, what parts of their business it could be beneficial in?
Yeah,
What are
absolutely.
those
So
pieces
to
of advices
piggyback on
that
what
you
you were
get?
just saying about humility, I mean, really listening to the people that you want to serve and being clear on who those people are. That's one of the biggest places where people can jump in is just getting inside of the communities that they want to serve and listening to what their problems are and what questions they have and coming at it from the perspective of what can I help them with? What can I answer for them instead of what's my expertise or what great knowledge do I have to offer? Because so many times we're coming from the expert perspective and we know everything but we're not actually listening to people. So a lot of people create sales funnels for products that their audience doesn't even think they need yet because they're not aware enough to know that that's the solution.
Right. No matter how great the funnel is, if there's not a need,
Yeah,
it's not going to work, no matter how much money you throw at it.
exactly.
And they put the cart before the horse. What are some of the other things that you've learned? Because obviously there's been a great evolution over the years. I've been in marketing, for 35 years, and especially the last 3 years, seems like there was more change than in the previous 30. What were some of the things that you've learned over these, especially the last year, that either is surprising to you
Yeah,
or
absolutely. So
too
I've been in it
extremely
about
valuable?
8 years or so, long enough to see it shift as well. And I remember when I first came in, it was all about the freebie. Like you got to start with the freebie funnel. You got to give them that free PDF or whatever it might be, and then just churning out content constantly. But what a lot of people were running into is, okay, now I have these leads, but I don't know what to do with them. I don't know how to nurture them or serve them. I don't know how to sell to them. So what I've seen shifting in the last probably 18 months or so is starting to lead with a small digital product so that you're serving them right from the beginning and you're building a list full of people who are engaged, they're excited to buy, they're actually paying attention to your content. Because I don't know about you, but there were so many times where I would download a free PDF and I would file it on my desktop and be like, yeah, I'll get to that later. But that whole thing about I'll do it tomorrow, so many people forget they downloaded the freebie, that when you do actually email them and you go to nurture your list, they're like, who is this person and why are they in my inbox? Like they totally forget who you are. So when you can lead with something that brings people in, they're paying to be there, so they're going to pay attention to what they're buying, and then it just completely changes the game for your brand, and it builds you up as a thought leader and an expert because they're consuming your content instead of just filing it and not paying attention. So if you can build what I call like a tiny offer funnel, some people call it a self-liquidating offer funnel, something that brings people in as buyers right away, it can completely change the way that you're building your audience and nurturing it with your email list.
One of the things that I've learned, in building this, in what I call an ambassadorship of a community, not just followers. Yeah, because followers will just file away whatever it is, or trash what you have. But an ambassador is someone that you actually empower, or emotionally connect with. The capability of that ambassador, though, it's one thing to get an ambassador; it's another to monetize them. And what strategies do you utilize to see the monetization of someone who has a trust relationship that you're providing value? Now you're asking for that value
Yeah,
back.
absolutely. So
What
I've
what are some of
shifted
the things
my
you've learned
entire
there?
strategy into I run ads to a cold audience, and then I sell on the sales page. I have direct response copy that really, gets the emotional connection to the product that I'm selling, helps them visualize the solution, and they go from not knowing who I am to buying this. Typically, what I sell is a $27 product, so they don't need an existing relationship as long as I've got testimonials and a guarantee so they feel safe buying it and they see how much value is in the product that they're going to purchase. It really shortens the gap between stranger to customer, but also taking it a step back and having really good content, and creating the content after you have the product created, so that you're always nurturing people and bringing them in. And then you can always do different retargeting strategies with your ads to bring those to people who are watching your videos or engaging with your content.
That's super smart, and I've seen that in my own content, because getting into it 4 Super Bowls ago now with Gary Vaynerchuk, I had no idea in my strategy. Obviously, I don't sell anything in that respect, but it was still, I felt the same way, that okay, I have this huge community asking me for things. It would have been nice to actually have something at the beginning and to give them. Now we're working on that as well. One of the things that I've learned, especially on the social media side, last 4 years, is I don't think that people realize the size, scope, and scale of the addressable audience. I think that we are so early that people have no clue what they're doing. They are guessing all the time, and they're just supported by the fact that you went from, I'm selling my product to Zionsville, Indiana, with 300,000 people, to 4.4 billion people around the world have access to my information. And I don't think that people, I'm old school, obviously a little bit older than most people doing this. I see it as an extraordinary opportunity that as we grow and figure it out in the next decade, the people that are early on trying to figure this out will start to appreciate, holy
Yeah,
moly,
it's amazing.
we
I
have a
just saw
huge
somebody post
audience.
something the other day that was like, if you don't think you have a big following, think about 30 people being the size of a classroom and 100 people being the size of, a stadium or an auditorium. And when you visualize it that way, it's like, oh my gosh, the last conference I was at, there were 5,000 people there, and it seemed like a crazy amount of people. But when I look at how many tiny offers I've sold, I mean, it's been an audience of, I think we're at 17,000 people and counting. So it's like one tiny drop in the bucket for what's actually
Yeah.
possible in the world. It's just crazy.
I do that it's so funny. I do that. I've been blessed to be speaking for so many years that, like, my guys were, disappointed in some of these virtual speeches. They're like, oh man, there's only like 13,000
Only.
people. And I'm like, dude, if somebody a year ago would have hired me to
Yeah.
go to a arena, right, and sell out Staples at 13,000 people and say, Dave, you're going to speak for an hour at Staples with these other
Right.
people, like, I probably would have just done it because it would have been so cool. But people lose perspective of the size, scope, and scale of what those opportunities. And I love the fact that you're not tripping over, pennies to get to dollars, that, you understand 17,000 times 27, is a great audience. And a big portion, if you provide great value, a big portion of the 17,000 will buy a $97 product, and then into a $1,900 product eventually, if you keep providing the value. How important is it to manage expectations? So you give the guarantee, you provide value, but how important it is to manage the expectations throughout the process, because people lose, they're apathetic, they lose attention, they lose engagement. And if you lose them early on, you're losing the bigger, what I consider the bigger opportunity, the annuity of having an ambassador that's willing to pay
I mean,
you
it's
for the
hugely
value you
important to
provide.
keep people opening your emails and making sure that if you are on other channels or you're doing different visibility things, that you're trying to get them to engage with you on a bunch of other platforms too. Just because they bought doesn't mean they're in like this buyer's pool and cool, they're there, but how do you keep them paying attention and jumping in and watching your content? Just, I think a lot of people get nervous about showing up too much or emailing too much. But when people join your email list, like, they're so excited to be there, and they want your content. They want to listen to you talking on these different channels. So a lot, I mean, I coach a lot of women, so there's a little different mindset between nurturing or too much masculine energy of selling. I think helping people shift into that, it's okay to be visible. People are choosing to be there. They're choosing to pay attention to your content. And if they're not, they can leave. Like, there are a limitless amount of people that you can help and reach and impact with your message. So I think that was a big shift that I've helped a lot of my students make.
Yeah, I think that is the scope, scale, and size opportunity that people are so worried, because a few friends that they are, followed by, are true ambassadors. They get a feedback of, oh man, you're emailing too much, or I just have to say, stop posting, you're annoying, and these are people you care about. And meanwhile, I'm like, you haven't even reached the minimum until you've literally annoyed the people who are closest to you, because it takes so much attention. There's so much noise out there. You got to post. that's a huge lesson that I've learned. Gary, who has mentored me from the beginning, day one, when I have my little sessions, which are only 5 minutes, he looks at my Instagram every time. At the very least, he says, you don't post enough. And I'm like, you're killing me, dude. Like, people are going to be sick of me. And, you know, I remember a guy in San Diego, really popular guy years ago. Dave, you're posting too much. As a friend, I'm telling you, you're posting too much. And I'm like, as a friend, just please don't follow me, because I need to post as much to build an audience to empower over 1 billion people. It's not going to happen with one post a day. Anyway, where can people find you if they want marketing strategy?
Yeah, absolutely. So my email,
to
one fortunate thing about having an odd last name is that I've mastered all of the handles under my name. So you can find me at,
It's an odd last name, but I'm sure you were teased as a little girl.
Right,
it's
even better.
BJERK. Oh, you're married. God, so your husband's probably a very radically humble person. He knows how to handle it.
Last name. So it's Allie Bjerk. My website's alliebjerk.com. All the social handles are pretty much the same. So Instagram is where I like to hang out the most. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, don't let the spelling fool you.
Yep.
She's no jerk.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Awesome.
It's Bjerk.
Thanks, David. Thanks.
Thank you, Allie. Keep in touch with me. Come back soon. Take care, sir. All right. You know, I think those funnels are so important. I'm still trying to figure it out myself. And I want to thank Allie for that. Email me. There you go, alliebjerk.com. David@dmeltzer.com. As you're joining our community, you can see it above me. 949-298-2905. All righty, let's take a few more questions here as we're moving and grooving. What do you think about Machiavellian strategic people? Look, I try to understand everyone and pray for their happiness. I think that people that are Machiavellian don't understand that everybody's a sponsor or a power sponsor. They don't have to be a gatekeeper. Machiavellian behavior is because people see resistance, effort, and void shortages and obstacles between us. A tree has no branches. And so you don't need to, and trust me, I've studied Machiavelli, utilize overselling, back-end selling, lying, manipulating, and cheating as a young person. Doesn't work, right? You're just getting out of line to go to the back of the line. You need to look at people and understand, help them, pray for their happiness, and you'll be far better off as we go forward with that. Let me see who we are here. Cool. Well, it's 8:15 already. Danielle has a quick question for me. Is she in here? Let me see. Danielle at Culture Spun. Go ahead, reach out. If you have a question, Danielle, Alma Ocean's here. So, yeah, sorry. They gave me the wrong number. Jakey Bakey, man. There we go. Sorry. There we go. Danielle Hodge has a question for me. Hey.
Hey.
I'm sorry, they gave me the wrong name. I'm looking for something else. I'm like, Alma Ocean. That's
I saw that. I was like, are you going to go live with Culture Spun or me?
Yeah, we're going live. You have a question for me. What is it?
Yes, I do. So you may have peeped and saw that I've got some really cool inflatables. That's the business that I launched during this COVID time. Just think Fun Boy Inflatables meets culture. And I know I belong in this space, and especially with all the work that you have to do in this space, I feel like the hardest challenge for entrepreneurs is putting the pieces together and finding a good path and to position yourself in front of the right people. And I launched on Kickstarter last week actually. And so, David, I'm just tapping into your entrepreneur brain and hoping that you could share some insight and some tips about meeting my crowdfunding goal. And so my question to you is, what are your top tips for spreading the word in order to meet my goal for crowdfunding and get on the radar of the right investors? And maybe is there a community I can tap into for mentorship as well?
Have you heard of Launch Boom?
Launch Boom?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, so you got it. So Will Ford is an incredible CEO. He's actually a judge on my TV show. We have a TV show called 2 Minute Drill, which I'd love to have you try out for. It's on Bloomberg. It's on Amazon. It launches January 8th, but we have season 2 in June. I would reach out to Launch Boom before you do anything else, because right now you need to stop. My experience has been you need to have the community before you do the Kickstarter campaign. You need to do a lot beforehand to guarantee the success that you have. And LaunchBoom is the greatest company I know out there that assists on. There's LaunchBoom School, there's LaunchBoom, and they have relationships to help you get featured. By far, I've just changed your life and your trajectory because these guys are incredible. They do 6-7 figure fundings. They position you in the right way. And yes, your product is one in which then after you go through the LaunchBoom cycle and you do extremely well, investors will dive in. If you have a successful crowdfunding campaign, there's no problem raising money because you've proven that there's an audience and a community that wants your product. So people will invest in you to accelerate your branding, marketing, distribution. So my piece of advice is reach out, just email me. I'm going to personally introduce you to the CEO, Will Ford.
Great.
And then you just have to promise me you're going to try out for my TV show next season.
Promise done, accepted.
Awesome. I love it. David at dmeltzer.com. It's right there, right below. And yeah, well, that's all you got to do. Check out if anyone's thinking about it, build your audience first. Use a company like LaunchBoom if you can, because they will guarantee your success. They won't let you be unsuccessful. They literally will make sure and tell you up front, don't do a campaign you're wasting your time or money. But I know from my experience that this is a product that will sell in a great crowdfunding campaign. So I look forward to seeing you on my TV show. Reach out to Will Ford. Thank you so much.
See ya. Thanks, David.
Bye, Danielle. Thank you.
Bye.
Alma Ocean. Check it out. Fun pool toys. Those do really well on Amazon as well. I have a friend who sells millions of dollars of pool toys as we go. All right, where are we looking here? Go ahead. I'm going to grab, let's see here. I'll take a question. So many different things going on. What is your favorite football team? The Los Angeles Chargers, because it's my 10-year-old's favorite team. I wanted to trade teams, but he won't let me. All right. Best lesson you learned from playing college football? Best lesson, two things. In the actual game of football, your hands are the defensive player, your hands are the most important thing. So if everyone's running to the football and you use your hands, then no matter if you're the Tyreek Hill, the fastest person in the world, he cannot pull me and outrun everybody. So if I can hang on to someone, more important than a big hit is strong hands. In a life level, I learned the consistent, persistent pursuit of my potential. I learned to enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of my potential. I lead like one of my great coaches, the defensive coordinator at Occidental College, Gary Echeverry, who coached in the NFL and the CFL, but he pushed me, right? He taught me the toughness of the butterfly, that, you know, he's not going to cheat me, that if he didn't care so much about me, he would have just left me alone. And I saw him leave other players alone, and he was on me all the time to bring the best out of me. He saw potential in me, and I hated him, and I love him now. I'm Coach Weedoff, Coach Echeverry. I'm just so grateful for both of them for teaching me about life and how to lead and to be an intelligent follower, to be a teammate, to be radically humble, all of those things. Here we go. What's your biggest challenge in life and how did you overcome it? Practicing ending fear is the biggest challenge. I haven't overcome it yet, but I am practicing by identifying the fear, stopping when I'm in ego-based consciousness, dropping down to center by breathing, and then rolling in my right trajectory. So that's kind of where we're at. All right, Amir. Oh, I saw Amir here. Yeah, hold on. Where's my Nina? Go ahead. Sorry. Have you read Make the Big Time Where You Are book by Frosty? No, I'd like to. You want to send it to me? I'll read it. That's awesome. Amir, I'm looking for you. I think this is it. Nina Breeze. Yep. All right. Let's bring my friend Amir in here. So we are the co-founder and CTO of Breaker. There he is.
Hey, how you doing, David?
Good, man. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me. Nice to be here.
That's a freaking nice hoodie, man. I like that thing.
Appreciate it, man. One of my friends made it for me. I like to buy things my friends make.
Yeah, me too. I'm just blessed to have so many talented friends
Sure.
like you, by the way. So give
Appreciate
me
it.
an idea what you got going on with Breaker.
Yeah, for sure. Music Breaker is a two-sided marketplace that me and two of my co-founders and my brother created to help independent artists reach influencers that they're trying to get their music to. One of the things that we saw in the market is that obviously record labels have massive reach and massive resources to be able to reach these influencers, but at the same time, there's a lot of really good independent music out there that needs to get that same opportunity. So we tried to find some of the pain points that influencers or DJs and kind of social tastemakers were finding in terms of being able to actually listen to and accept the music from independent artists. And we just created a tool called Music Breaker that allows to streamline that workflow so that everybody can have the same opportunity that the majors have. As well as, we have a few record label partners that we're talking to that can also utilize the tool. Breaker's not here to get rid of management. It's not here to get rid of the record labels, but it's more so here to help streamline a process that's already taking place. A little bit of the background, me and two of my friends, we threw parties under a brand called Day Snatchers. And this is kind of where Breaker came to be. Artists would say, hey, can you get my song played at your party? And we, okay, we'll listen to it. We'll try to reach out to our DJs. And then we actually found the friction points ourselves, which was in just the music discovery, the actual the transfer of the payments, and then the verification that this actual event took place. So in our own experiences, we've learned like kind of what that pain point was like. And then we built Breaker to eliminate those frictions.
Building, I deal with a lot of marketplaces, and I really prefer to invest in a marketplace where they focus on one side of the market. What's your biggest challenge? Which side of the market is the more challenging side to build a community on?
Honestly, like in our experience, we've launched 3 weeks ago. We have 5,400 users in the application. We haven't spent any money on paid search or SEO or anything like that. We've just been doubling down on just getting in the two sides of the market, and both sides are willing, right? Like, artists obviously are willing to find these influencers and get a payment across. So it's not really hard to say, hey, like we have opportunities here for you to scale your music. And then on the other side, it's like, hey, influencers, right? Like you're posting music for free. You're not getting paid by the majors. And there's a pool of really good music here that's, there for you to put into your content, and you can actually receive compensation for it. So it's been pretty easy, like getting either side of the marketplace on. Obviously, like, we have to make sure that we're not leaning to either side of them, obviously, because the artists are the paying customers, but the influencers are providing their social capital here. So it's a pretty, delicate balance in terms of communicating to both sides. But we haven't really had any issues so far in the last 3 weeks.
Is there any commercial opportunities, like guys like me that would want to use it for my TV show or podcast music, or, is there an audience like me that's available to purchase
sure.
that music?
Yeah, we've actually we've run a few of these pilots. One of our partners was Fashion to Figure. They're a brand under like the Lord and Taylor company. Yeah, and they've licensed some of the music from our artists, and they've actually got paid up to $1,000. Some of them, I think, we've paid out about $4,000 to artists. So it's not just artists paying influencers either, right? I think one of the campaigns we did with one of the artists that we ran it with was Latasha out of New York, and Fashion to Figure, they have a great relationship now. They're on doing their own thing, so she's made her own connections with them, and she's been in their New Year's Eve campaign, driven I think up to 500,000 views on Instagram for her. So it's proven to work.
Yeah, really, I'm gonna use it myself because I'm always looking for music that no one's heard of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of it's powerful, as you know. There's huge talent out there. They just need exposure.
Absolutely.
And obviously, for a company or a production like I do, it's far less expensive than licensing Don Lennon.
And a lot of it's really good. I mean,
really
honestly,
good.
A lot of it's really good. What we've learned is that music sitting in a file is like doesn't have any life to it, right? But the moment that you put it in front of an influencer and they're dancing, or you put it in a video with sports people, we even have some chefs on our platform that put music behind their cooking videos. And the moment that some type of activity comes to it, the song kind of comes to life and takes a life of its own. And that's when we realize that a lot of these artists just need that opportunity to have. A lot of these artists need that opportunity to have their song come to life.
Yeah, no doubt, and it does bring that emotional attachment, to the content far beyond what you can do. If you don't believe me, anybody that runs, try running without music and with music. It's the same impact when you're marketing. Exactly. Marketing without music, compared to with music is like jogging without music. It really is. And how
Exactly.
do you guys, last question, how do you guys monetize, and make money yourselves? And are you looking for investment?
Yeah. So, we take a 10% platform fee similar to a lot of other marketplaces. I think ours is actually on the lower end. And even when you think about entertainment in general, management fees, a lot of these artists don't have managers, right? So the tool is actually their management in terms of their music promotion. And on the influencer side, it's the same thing. There's management companies for them, but those management companies are taking 30-40% sometimes, like, from our research. So we figured 10% was very, very gracious of us, honestly. And we think that, we're a software company, right? We're not building to try to take off of people's income. We want them to actually receive the income. It doubles down on the value of the marketplace, and we can build for scale. So right now we've got into Andreessen Horowitz accelerator for TXO. Yep. So they've
Real deal.
given us a pretty, thank you. They've given us a pretty good investment. A lot of our other investment partners, family, friends, offices, and things like that. So we've raised about 650 so far in pre-seed.
Nice.
And I think we're looking for our seed round in around February. We're just going to continue to grow, find the pain points in the product, scale the product, and build our community. But around February, we're going to be looking to launch a seed round.
Yeah, well, you'll do very well in that, and make sure you reach back out to me so we can get you back on here as that comes about. Any last pieces of advice or ideas that you have that you'd like to share with us about the company?
Yeah, I mean, you can just check us out on www.musicbreaker.com. Breaker spelled BREA.